Guys, so one thing that annoys me, I saw a video, let's say maybe a week or two ago, that this guy, he was 19 at the time. He did an IQ test and he got 86. You know, 86 is low, but it's not really low. It's not very low. Do you know what I mean? And this guy, he seems to say that he went to the psychiatrist to get his IQ test done. I think a score of 86. The psychiatrist says, "Oh, you'll never work a job, and you'll always be dependent on others for food and stuff." And that's just retarded. It simply is retarded. Okay. Now this guy. Now I did some research on this. The average IQ of a person working in fast food, according to the site I looked at, was 87. Now, so he's 1 point below the average. That's nothing. All right. This guy seems to think that, oh, everybody who works in fast food has an IQ of 87, and anyone with an IQ even one below that, it can't work here. No, not everyone has the same IQ in that position. Okay, I'm sure there's people working in fast food who can keep their jobs no problem with IQs of 80 or even below that. All right, now when I was 17, I did an IQ test. I got 70. All right. Now I worked at McDonald's for a year and 9 months. I left. I resigned myself. Didn't get fired. You know what I mean? I even got Employee of the Month in August. So, that's from an IQ of 70. All right. Now, I believe, maybe my IQ increased a bit. Maybe it was like 80 or something when I was towards the end of my time at McDonald's. But, if a guy from an IQ test of 70 can work a job at McDonald's and keep a job at McDonald's, then a guy of 86 should find that easy. All right. And yeah, my IQ was quite low. When I first started working at McDonald's, I found it a challenging job. But in more recent months, I started trying to work my IQ. I made YouTube videos, lots of YouTube videos. I started reading, and stuff like that. And slowly my IQ improved. So for me, it went from being after working 4 or 5 days on the bounce, your head would be wrecked and you'd be looking for a day off. That was me before I started trying to improve my IQ in 2020. Then afterwards, after a month or two of me working my brain, suddenly it was easy. Suddenly, your brain was never wrecked. Suddenly, it didn't feel too challenging. So, just because, I did have a very low IQ, but I'm improving. And I still believe it's low, but it's getting better. It's definitely, at least in the 80s now at this stage. I doubt it's still in the 70s. So, and working at McDonald's is not as easy as people think it is. It's not the easiest job out there. A lot of memorization and stuff. Like there's easier jobs, like, working at the lobby at McDonald's is a lot easier working in the kitchen. So maybe if you have a really low IQ, like maybe if you're around like 70, 75, maybe get a job on the lobby at McDonald's. Maybe, you get such easy jobs, people picking up litter on the streets, outside shops, people hold up signs to advertise a shop. Like, I was on Grafton Street recently, and there's this guy holding up a sign saying Grafton Street with a sign pointing to the left. Like, do you think you need to be smart to do that? Nah. So yeah, there's some, let's look at it this way. The unemployment rate, they say that, like, my brother told me that during the boom years in Ireland, which was, I think, 1997 to 2008, the Celtic Tiger, we call it, there was an unemployment rate of like 3%. And some of those people either wouldn't work or couldn't work. Okay, I understand if you're handicapped, you can't talk, you're in a wheelchair, then yeah, okay, you can't work. But I think vast majority of people, like 99% of people, are capable of working a job of some sort. Okay, like my IQ as a 17-year-old was 98% of people had a higher IQ than I did, and I still managed to last at McDonald's. Okay, and So, yeah, if you have an IQ of 70, 75, get a job, okay, back to the point. All right, so, if you have an IQ of 85, your IQ is lower than 75% of the population, but higher than 25%. So, you're not in the bottom quarter. If you have an IQ of 86, when the unemployment rate is 3%, then, in order for you not to be physically able to work a job, you'd have to be very low. Do you know what I mean? Very low, way lower than 86. You have to be like, below 70, definitely. So, yeah, this is what annoys me. Anyway, you just gotta ignore this. Don't be a victim to the education system's stupidity. If you have an IQ of 86, you'll easily be able to work a fast food job. If you just have a little bit of a work ethic, you'll be fine. Now, yeah, you won't be. If your IQ stays at 86 your whole life, of course, you're not going to be financially wealthy. You're not going to be an engineer, a doctor, or a successful business owner. But I believe you can improve on that. Maybe read, learn a new language, do something that improves your brain. Okay. Yeah, my IQ is low. It's getting better, but I feel like I've got the potential to at least be above average. So that's the thing. So don't listen to these IQ test crap. you know. Like according to my IQ score, I'm not able to read the time. I'm not able to understand a schedule on the bus or the train, and like, man, I've been able to read the schedules on buses and trains from the age of like 7. So, it just goes to show you it's not 100% accurate. It is a bit stupid, and if you get a low IQ, my advice is, don't let it get you down. Try to work on it, improve it. If you do have a low IQ, probably means I would say do small doses of work. Maybe if your IQ is really low, just maybe read for half an hour a day, something like that. Just something to improve your brain power. Because I've improved my IQ massively in the last few months. I work at Spar now. I find that easy. I've had no problems so far. When I started working at McDonald's, I found it very difficult. So that just goes to show what a couple months of work can do. So yeah, don't let it get you down.